You ever have a day where things just don't go right? That's been today. Started out with, I had a plan for this video of where I was going to go. And then it turns out there's a private event there, and it's $60 a person to enter the event, not to mention $10 parking. So that didn't happen. So here I am on a forest walk. This is a Canon T5. And it is a Canon T5 that I spent $40 for. I didn't clean it. I didn't even charge the battery. The battery was fully charged. It came with a memory card, though I did swap that out. We're going to test it out. We're going to see what this 18 megapixel sensor does. Because why not? I have the T3 and I love it. And I'm still kind of in shock. I spent 40 bucks on this at a garage sale. I like the way the sun's coming through here. Not sure where the shot is though. Maybe that tree right there. You're listening to the dog park next door. To my left. There's some dogs that are not getting along. So in the interest of sparing you all that, we'll continue a little bit forward and I'll give you some of my thoughts. Now, this is not about me yucking on someone's yum. Gear acquisition syndrome is a real thing, and I can certainly be guilty of it. I'm out there shopping online all the time with apparently someone else's money, because it definitely ain't mine. That said, I grew up as a very impoverished kid in the 90s on the Canadian border, and my Wonder Woman of a mother managed to clothe me, herself, and my father through garage sales. I didn't notice I was wearing last year's style. I didn't care. I just know I had sometimes clothes with tags on them even for school, and I was dressed and comfortable. And in the summer when I wanted to go fishing, I'm not buying that $7 Rapala in the store. I'm getting it for $1.50 at a garage sale. As I've grown older, I still see the value in that. And almost everything you see me restore on my channel or use on my channel outside of the OM1 and OM3 were purchased at garage sales or flea markets. This was $40 with the kit lens and the 75 to 300 and a fully charged battery and a memory card. If I wanted to buy this new when it came out in 2014, it would have been $550. If I want to buy it now, I still have to pay quite a bit. That T3 you saw me use, I just recently sold because I acquired this for over $270. This could probably sell for more. It's not being sold because I have these Canon EF lenses I've got, and until I get something better, maybe like a T7 for a reasonable amount, this will be my Canon. The point I'm trying to get at here is I can take $100 and I can make it be 4 or 5 cameras that I want to use and lenses. You can still have that large collection. You can still have that fun, and you can spare the e-waste and get a perfectly serviceable camera without breaking the bank or putting yourself into debt. At least That's my opinion. If you're shopping for Hasselblads, you probably should have the money for a Hasselblad. If you're shopping for Leicas, etc., it just doesn't necessarily apply to you. But there's been this whole surge on TikTok and Instagram of people getting Canon G7Xs and the Fujifilm 100 5s and 6s and 4s, or the Canon T30 Mark II. These are some new cameras, but several that are going on half a decade old, and their prices are going through the roof. Consider an older DSLR. It might not be as trendy or fashionable, but the picture quality in many cases is just as good or better. What I'm really seeing today that I didn't see the last time I was out here was the light dappling. And we've got it through the forest here and like on these logs. And I think that is going to be a shot right here. Now, I am barefoot, so I would do well not to get hit by a water moccasin. I think this is going to be our shot. Can't tell if I like landscape or portrait for this. We are shooting at f8, so it should mostly be in focus. And yet again, I love that shutter sound. That mirror slap from a DSLR is just perfection. The dream, of course, is to come across a 6D or a 5D at a reasonable price, because when I was a younger man, that was the dream camera. And I just came back from Iceland, and by far and away, the number one camera I saw in Iceland were 6Ds and 5Ds. I mean, 40 or 50 of them. And the second was Canon mirrorless. But those 5Ds and 6Ds still going. Weather stealing apparently still working. And they were numerous. And frankly, I was a little bit jealous. Just a little bit. Have I ever taken a picture of a termite mound before? Yes. Yes, I have. So back to the not so great day I was having. And we got to this place. I wanted the $60. Decided not to do that. So option B, way too hot, no sun protection, no shade from trees. That was out. It wasn't really a place for little man to play either. So we came here because we got a playground, we're in the shade. I also discovered that my Peak Design capture clip was no longer functioning. Most of Iceland I spent like this. I just net carried the OM1 and never carried my backpack. I never needed a tripod. I never needed any filters with the built-in ND and the stabilization. So instead of huffing that backpack up side of a mountain, I just myself. Well, apparently at some point during the trip, we got some sand in it. Probably the black sand beaches. It's one of the few times I took the bag out. and that sand particles got in the little push-in point, and as a result, it would not slide open or close, so you could not get the clip in, I discovered. Luckily, easy enough fix. Just took a rocket blower and got the sand out, but it's still grindy in there. I'll probably use a compressed air can to blow in. Doesn't fill me with the greatest confidence, I gotta say, because the whole idea is you can carry that anywhere, and the OM was certainly rugged enough and handled snow, rain, and that sand never got into anything. Obviously wipe it off, blow it off, but yeah, Peak Design, pretty expensive if you're having that issue. You guys might remember this from the earlier video. This was all water. This is a vernal pool, a temporary habitat. Now that water is kind of dried up. Might be nice to do a comparison shot between the two, so let's take a look. Don't know how close I got to the original there, but I'll put the original that I took with the T3, and then I'll put the T5 after it, and you guys can tell me what you think. Very similar composition though, obviously without the reflection, and I'm a sucker for reflections. Am I brave enough to get close to, ow, it's a mosquito. Am I brave enough to get close to that spider web? No. Will it turn out in this photo? Maybe. We'll see. But I have to keep moving because these mosquitoes are evidently just completely immune to DEET. Don't care. And the only thing that is keeping them from draining me dry is the slight breeze of my movement. I miss Iceland. Don't get me wrong, the midges were almost as annoying as mosquitoes. But there so often rain and breeze that other than the first 3 or 4 days, the midges weren't really a concern. That said, I would invest in one of those hats with the mesh just because the golden circle especially is just midge heaven, and you don't want to have to be dealing with it. It was quite frustrating for photos too, because before you took your photo, you would have to fan in front of your lens and then take the shot. And I did not have the same level of success as like photo tripper Gavin, who has got that down to a science, because I was having to edit out all the time the little black dots. This is Iceland, but it's still pretty. Still not. Well, it's been 102 degrees Fahrenheit. And I think we're turning back. My son is ready for his nap, so I will not keep him waiting. I've been compiling my thoughts as I suffer here. What do I think about the T5? Obviously, I sold my T3 before I even really tried this out. I got this before Iceland. I didn't have the chance to go on and about it. Decided I should sell the T3 so I could afford, I don't know, a soda in Iceland. And I think it was a good decision. Emotional attachment side of the T3, there was no point in keeping it. And I've been clearing out some inventory of my film cameras as well, so that I'm more of a collector, and I use these things. So the Pentax K1000, for example, recently went. There's no reason to have the Pentax K1000, the Canon AE1, the OM1N. These are fulfilling the same niche, and someone else should take it and use it and enjoy it, because I'm not going to be able to take them all out. And in fact, I've got a few Minoltas and probably that Canon that are going to be going away soon too. I got off on a tangent there. What do I think about the T5? It is, in every little way, better than the T3. It is similar weight, and it's very light. It is, I would say, the same focus speed, same focus quality. It's 18 megapixels. I think it's a little bit better in its auto ISO, things like that. I don't know if there was some kind of change in it, but with my T3, I was noticing that the ISO would sometimes ramp up way beyond what it needed to for that scene. And we'll see what the images look like, but from the previews, they're just that little bit better. They're got the color science correct. They're just a higher grain image, and that makes sense. 18 megapixels. I will use this camera until I find that T6, 7, 8, or, fingers crossed, that 5D or 6D. You can still take this out. It's light. It's fun. Batteries, perfectly capable. You just need to understand that you are not going to get those auto tracking and AI assists. And this is somewhere between film camera, modern mirrorless. I think that could appeal to a lot of people. I will let you go now, and I will stop rambling. But get out there, have fun, go to garage sales. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.